Hour number 1 is in the books. Let's go. It's Middays with Thunder. Get your lunch, everybody. It's lunchtime with Thunder. I think this noon segment should be lunchtime with Thunder.
I like it.
Charlie, what do you got for lunch today?
I have nothing for lunch today. I'm on a Sparky diet today.
What's your eating like? When do you eat your meals? Because does your radio schedule mess with that? Does now that we're doing Middays with, because Middays with Thunder has completely thrown off my eating regimen.
Yeah, I would say my eating schedule before being on radio was right at that kind of 12:30, 1 o'clock time.
Okay.
And that's usually when I come into the studio for Sparky's show.
So do you grab food on your way in?
I'll
do you eat at home?
I'll do both, either or. It's one or the other.
Okay.
Usually when I'm doing this show, I don't eat that often before.
Yeah, same. I used to end the Mason Crosby show. I'd be done at 11. I'd go home and eat with Mrs. Thunder, and then carry on with the rest of my day. But now I'm like, when do I eat? I don't know. So I grabbed breakfast this morning, and now I guess I kind of want to do breakfast and then mid-afternoon and be done eating.
That's fair.
And not because you eat too late at night and that's when it sticks in you and stuff like that.
I'm
trying to lose some weight.
I love breakfast food. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I can never eat it at breakfast time. I'm not hungry in the morning. It's got to be a lunch or after. I like breakfast.
Do you eat late at night? Is it okay?
Usually when we're eating dinner, it's always at least an hour after this, so it's 7:30, 8 o'clock.
So that's why you're not hungry for breakfast.
Usually, yeah.
If you ate dinner at 6, you might be hungry for breakfast.
Yeah, but then to eat dinner at 6, then I have to get out of here and immediately make dinner or something, or my girlfriend has to be making dinner before, but she's got a life of her own as well.
And you're not getting out of here that early.
Well,
Sparky's got a list of 43 things for you to do after the show.
It's usually 5:30, but 30 minutes isn't enough time to make a good dinner. You know, it's enough time to make mac and cheese or a frozen pizza, but it's not enough time for a good steak and potatoes or something.
Nice stir fry.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Middays with Thunder. Mitch Nellis, aka Thunder, with you here on the Fan. Charlie Usen is here as well. Q's asking about Charlie's nervousness level with regards to the game tonight. We'll get into the game later on in the show as we get into the 1 o'clock hour. But we've talked so much about Micah Parsons. And if you want to talk about Micah Parsons, you can. Q, by the way, had a Cobb salad. Q, if you ever want to drop off, I'll rock a Cobb salad like that.
It worked the last time we asked for somebody to drop something off. So
yeah, exactly. If you want to drop by, if anybody wants to, you know what, we got to get this. I think, Can we do breaking news real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Wednesday's show will be at Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are taking the show on the road this Wednesday. The leadoff show, we're not sure. The leadoff show's in the middle of our show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not sure if Tommy's coming out also, but whether he is or not. So we'll do the show from 11 to 12:30. He'll be on 12:30 to 1:30. Then I'll do another half hour. So it sounds like I got a great hour in between to just stuff my face with every different menu item at the sports book.
I don't know. It might take you more than an hour and a half to do that, man.
It's true.
They got a big menu there, a lot of different restaurants.
So I kind of want to tell them that, I want from the sportsbook kitchen itself, can I get a bite of everything? Can I get one chicken tender? Can I get a quarter of a burger? Can I get all the different things they have on their amazing menu there? Can I get a tiny amount of it?
As somebody who's worked in food service for the past 10 years of my life,
go to hell, Thunder.
No,
Thunder,
you can't.
No, go to hell. Never talk to us again. No. Just go home. Basically, go home and eat there if you want to eat like that. All right, that's fair. So the question we asked at the top of the show, and we're still taking the question: can one person make this big of a difference? 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. The difference we saw number one make yesterday. 414-677-1250. But I also want to give some flowers out, give some kudos out to the offensive line, because I thought the offensive line was great yesterday. I know we looked up, is this PFF or PFT?
PFF.
PFF. Okay. So Pro Football Focus, not to be confused with Pro Football Talk, and Mike Florio, who's made a great career for himself. I remember when he was just a lawyer doing Pro Football Talk part-time. He started this website and he'd come on every show. He was on with me and Homer all the time because he was trying to make a name for himself. He was a full-time lawyer doing this on the side. And now he's a multi-millionaire with, bleep you kind of money and doesn't have to go on any show. And he's too cool for school.
Well, and he could probably do all his own lawyer work now. So now he's a football talk host with lawyers on the side.
But Pro Football Focus does a great job with grades. I don't know if Andy Herman has his grades out yesterday. I think his usually come out on Tuesday, I feel like. When, of course, Packet A Radio, Monday through Friday here, 8 to 9. So he'll share those. Pro Football Focus has the offensive line numbers. Sean Ryan with the highest number of the day with a 74. I don't really care about the decimals.
That was the second highest rated guard in the entire league, too.
In the entire league. Wow. I'll take that. Zach Tom had a 68 before he got hurt. Elton Jenkins with a 62. Rasheed Walker with a 64. Aaron Banks with a 59 before he got hurt. Jordan Morgan with a 57 in 18 snaps. So the numbers don't look overwhelmingly like amazing, like positive, like crazy. But man, Jordan Love had all day to throw. And in the second half, and maybe part of this is the run blocking in the first half, because Detroit made it clear that they were going to stop Josh Jacobs in the first half. That they were going to stop Josh Jacobs. That was their goal coming out. Now, obviously, things change when you're down 17-3 and you're getting, gashed by the quarterback, and you need to start making some changes with the linebackers. But they made it clear that they were going to stop Josh Jacobs, and they did in the first half. They did a great job on Josh Jacobs in the first half, and that overloaded the offensive line. But Jordan Love had all day to throw numerous times, regardless of number 97 being out there. And with Aiden Hutchinson out there, we all thought, that's gonna re-energize the Lions defense, and that's gonna recharge the Lions defense. And what we would have come out from the game is thinking that, like, what we saw from the Packers defense, we might have thought we saw that from the Lions defense also, and we did not. We did not see the chip on the shoulder flying around the field Lions defense like we saw last year. I mean, last year the Lions had 1 million guys on the injured list, and they were still picking up guys and making plays left and right the entire season until that game against Washington. And when everything fell apart at home for Detroit against the Commanders in the playoffs. But up until that point, Detroit, and they had some crazy shootouts last year where their defense wasn't getting there, but they were still flying around. They just didn't have the talent out there. But with Hutchinson back, you would have thought that would have changed their defense in a way that Parsons would have changed the Packers defense, and it did not. They stopped Jacobs in the first half. Jacobs gashed him in the second half, and Jordan Love had all day to throw, all day.
Which is, I think, the main reason that I look at Aiden Hutchinson not having the same type of impact as Michael Parsons is that Aiden Hutchinson has been there already. I think that's kind of what we expected out of an Aiden Hutchinson, or what the Packers maybe expected out of Aiden Hutchinson. They could plan for him. The Lions don't have that same benefit. Michael Parsons was here for a week before they were able to play him. So they had to change their whole game plan. They don't know how Jeff Hafley's going to use them. They don't know how Michael Parsons, how much he's going to play in this game. I think that was really all kind of played into the type of impact that he has. And I would say that he is still going to have a big impact on this defense, but maybe not the same type of impact moving forward, because teams will start to see him in the system and kind of figure it out a little bit more. Aiden Hutchinson, yes, it's a new defensive coordinator, but it's the same team. It's the same head coach. It's the same system. So they're going to use him similarly.
He was out for quite a bit last year. And so you would have thought there would have been a little bounce.
But he was also out for quite a bit last year. Right. I mean, it's still going to take him a little while to get going in real live football action.
That's a good point. Jordan Love among the quarterbacks not sacked this week: Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence. Those are your three starting quarterbacks. Zach Wilson, I guess, for Miami came up and mopped up for Tua. Three quarterbacks with no sacks. And the Green Bay Packers, against Aiden Hutchinson, one of those teams. And I think, listen, if you're going to give a healthy Jordan Love that amount of time all week, all game long, Jordan Love's going to have a lot of successes here. And if you don't give him that time, well, then maybe that means it's Josh Jacobs' time. We all saw the impact that Josh Jacobs can make on this team last year. And we saw how much he got stopped in the first half. But Josh Jacobs still ended the game 19 for 66, a 3.5-yard average and a touchdown. And I think he started, was he 6 for 8?
Yes.
I think he started 6 for 8. So then he went 13 for 58, which is a 4.5-yard average after that 6 for 8 start. 13 for 58 is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'll take that every day.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good split to have. I know one of those was a 15-yard carry too as well, which kind of takes off a big chunk of that.
It does.
But at the same time, I mean,
but it means they were wearing down the defense, and the defense had to change its priorities. And that just means the offense can run down more time and control the clock even more.
And the Packers were consistent. That's what that means, that even when it wasn't working, they kept trying. They didn't just give up on the run game, kind of like the Lions did. Jahmyr Gibbs barely got any touches on the ground after the Packers decided that they figured them out. David Montgomery got a majority of the carries, and he still didn't really have that many carries. I mean, you can't just give up on a game plan that quickly. And that's what the Packers did a lot last season. It didn't look like they were going to do that today or yesterday.
608 writes in that it looked like Jordan Love was more patient in the pocket. He did a better job of allowing plays to progress, plays to develop. And he did. Like, when you have time to do that, it makes a big difference. Brandon writes in the dugout there on YouTube. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. And one thing I want to say about the YouTube channel is, like, when we have guests on or when we're doing the show, typically the host is not looking at the camera because we have our screen up to the left. So it's over there. So, like, the camera's right in front of me, but the screen's to the left. So I'm not being rude, like, to Peter Bukowski or to whoever's on the show or to Mason Crosby when we're doing the show together. I'm just like, I'm watching me and Mason like you would when you're on a Zoom call, just that my screen's off to the left. One day I feel like we'll get the camera and the screen in the same place.
Hopefully. That would be the goal.
Yeah. But Brandon writes in the dugout, 10 catches for 31 yards to Gibbs is the most impressive stat I've seen from the Pack in years. Good luck, NFC North. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating at times when they got pressure on Goff, and then he just kept dumping it off to Gibbs, right? Like that got annoying. It got frustrating. But the fact that he was able to do that, and then Gibbs had nowhere to go. You know, Peter shared it with us that Edgerrin Cooper in coverage gave up 8 catches, but on 5 of the 8, they were negative plays for the Lions. And, so that's an immediate tackle or a tackle for a loss or a tackle at the line where it's like, yeah, he caught a pass and gained 1 yard. All right, so now we got 2nd and 9. I would say the defense is then in control. The defense is winning that down. If they give up a completion, that's a 1 yard, kind of panic throw to the running back. Defense has won that down.
Well, and 10 catches is kind of crazy considering the talent that's in the Detroit Lions wide receiver room.
As someone who had Jameson Williams higher than 51.5 yards, I thought with Nate Hobbs out, like, how is Jameson Williams not getting 52 yards receiving? 4 for 23? 4 for 5 targets? 4 catches for a guy earlier in the day. They signed to a 3-year, $83 million extension or whatever it is. And he gets 5 targets all game in a game you're losing and you should be passing the ball. Like, I don't know what magic the Packers defense was doing beyond Micah, beyond the linebackers, but in the secondary to hold Jameson Williams down to that, to hold Amon-Ra St. Brown to 4 catches. If you had told me before the game that St. Brown and Williams were going to have 8 total catches the whole game, I'd have been like, no. They're going to have 15. Like, you mean St. Brown has 8 and Williams has 7. Like, they're going to have 15 catches easy. 8 total. What voodoo magic are the Packers playing on the Detroit Lions right now?
Well, you said it's the cornerbacks, but I think it's Micah Parsons. It's the addition of Micah Parsons in a game plan that you obviously saw the Lions had no interest in going downfield at all, because that would mean it takes more than 2.5 seconds for the play to develop. And they couldn't afford to do that with a player like Micah Parsons on the field, especially in such short notice when you don't have time to really put together a true game plan, which I think, again, the Detroit Lions struggled with in this 1 week with 2 new coordinators and a head coach that's not really involved in that side of the game plan. So it comes down to them kind of freaking out about Micah Parsons, and then just the literal fact that Micah Parsons is on the field and is making that type of pass rush on a consistent basis.
414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan talking text line. I guess the only redeeming I don't know if it's a stat. The only redemption for Jahmyr Gibbs for fantasy football owners is if you were playing in a PPR at least he got you 15, right? At least
Woo!
at least he didn't totally fail for you there by getting those 10 catches. So if you were full PPR, even half PPR, at least you got something out of Jahmyr Gibbs. 414-677-1250 is the phone number. We've got some more Packers talk coming up. We're going to maybe play a little sound from some of the players and from Matt LaFleur after the game. No media availability today. Today is like a Tuesday. As Mason would call it, a human Tuesday. It is the unofficial Tuesday for the Packers because of the short week. They are practicing tomorrow. Usually Tuesday's the day off. Today, Monday's the day off because they practice tomorrow and then Wednesday and get ready for a game Thursday night as I'm watching Jaden Daniels highlights on the screen in front of me. I mean, this is another huge matchup. This is another big one. This is going to be another great test for both these teams, I think, as we go into Thursday night. And it's like, I'm just like, as a Packers fan, I'm just so excited they get to play again Thursday night. Like, I'd be fine if they played Sunday. If they played Sunday and we had to wait till Sunday, that's normal. That's how it goes. But the fact that we get to watch prime time Thursday night after that win, as Brandon says and continues, the new energy is special. I think we're all energized by what we saw on the field yesterday. So let's keep it going. Let's hear from some of the players. Let's hear from Matt LaFleur. Then we'll get into some Brewers talk as well on Middays with Thunder. By the way, the Brewers have the best record in baseball, and they are now 7.5 games ahead of the Chicago Cubs. That's a nice number. That's a nice number. My name is Mitch Nellis. It's Middays with Thunder, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. 4 letters, 1 word. Oh, yeet. That's Jay, main event, Jay Uso, coming to Milwaukee tonight. Monday Night Raw, WWE in the house. Yes, let's go.
I've never heard that before.
That's okay. I mean, do you know who Jay Uso is?
Not really. No,
The Uso brothers?
only from you. Like literally only you talking
Part
about
of the bloodline, Roman Reigns' cousins.
I know Roman Reigns.
Did you know he had a bloodline?
I did not know that. It's like bloodline, is that specific to a WWE? Is that like a wrestling thing?
It is, but it's also like it's his relative.
Real family?
It's real.
Okay.
It actually is real family in real life. The Usos are cousin. The Uso twins are cousins.
Okay.
With Roman Reigns.
All right.
So he created, a stable, and now they're, Roman's taking some time off, and now Jay's the main eventer, and so I'm excited to see Jay Uso among others tonight.
Is he as good as Roman Reigns? I know Roman Reigns is pretty good.
He's a really good performer. He's I wouldn't say he's not quite as good.
Okay.
But he's been elevated to that kind of main event. Anyway, all right, that's enough wrestling talk for now. My name is Michelle, aka Thunder. It's Middays with Thunder here on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan. Free on the Odyssey app, free on YouTube as well. Brandon is going off on Roman Reigns and his any connection to Razor Ramon. Different guy, but I could see that he, when Roman was a bad guy, he did channel his inner Razor Ramon. I'll give you that. For those of you old school WWE fans. Packers 27, Lions 13, though really Lions 6. Charlie, who scored the touchdown for the Lions?
Oh, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It was, I remember. I do remember it.
Yeah, we all remember it.
Who was it? Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Never heard of this guy before. I'm actually looking him up on Wikipedia to see if I can get his pronunciation of his name, because I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. It's Isaac
Tesla.
Right? Yeah. It's Tesla.
I think you're supposed. It's like Tesla is how you're supposed. I don't. It's weird. Again,
Wikipedia says Tesla.
Okay, they go with the Tesla.
Tesla.
Right. Yeah, he's a rookie. Yeah.
Tesla is from Hudsonville, Michigan. His father played college football as a wide receiver for the Hillsdale Chargers.
Oh, yeah. My friend went to play basketball there, actually. A couple of my friends went to play basketball there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Isaac grew up playing football as a quarterback. He was a starter in high school. Let's see. He played, where did he go? He also went to Hillsdale and then went to Arkansas. So he started at Hillsdale and then was a wide receiver at Arkansas the past couple of years. Yeah. I mean, one of the greatest catches you've ever seen in your entire life, right? Am I wrong?
No, it was pretty impressive.
It was unbelievable. And I mean, to get like the feet in and to catch it, it was just absolutely fantastic. This is Middays with Thunder. It's just a party time Monday. The Packers won. The Brewers with the sweep. Badgers won also. Just all sorts of fun and frivolity. Joining us on the show, Ken in the Falls. Ken, you're on Middays with Thunder.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
You bet, Ken.
Great Monday. What a sports weekend it was for Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
You got the trifecta with the Badgers, the Packers, and of course, the number 1 seed, first place Brewers.
That's right. Best team in the world.
Right now they are, and I do believe that they will win the World Series. That's a topic for another day.
From your mouth to God's ears, Ken.
Exactly, and he's listening all the time, folks. Don't think he isn't.
True story.
What you were previously saying about wrestling, just real quick, wrestling back in the 90s and the early 2000s, just like NASCAR when they were at their peak, they've all lost their luster because they don't have the guys that they used to have back then to carry the sport. And that's unfortunate because back in those times, as you know, Mitch, they were at the peak. They were at the peak of their professions in terms of the guys that were in it and how they Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Nitro. And then you had NASCAR with Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace.
The Monday Night Wars were special. I will say is even with The Rock and Stone Cold and a young Cena not there anymore, wrestling went down for a while. It's come back, and it's not quite as good. And you have guys missing too much time for Hollywood movies and stuff like that. But when everybody's there and they're putting out their best product with the best writers, wrestling's back. It's really good right now.
Even my buddy Braun Strowman, who lives in the area here, I don't know if you know that.
Of course.
He's out now permanently. He's just too many surgeries, too many injuries. But it's one of those things where
never say never, Ken.
No, but at his age, I think he can clearly say never, especially with the neck injuries and the back injuries. So,
right.
Those types of things will definitely hinder your ability to perform. But with that being said, the Packers, to get the win that they got, especially, that's a huge win for LaFleur because he struggled against the Lions their last 4 meetings.
Absolutely.
So the team as a whole, all 3 phases of the game, right on. They did a great job. The pass rush was there all day putting pressure, and that's exactly what you wanted from your guy. That's why you're paying him the kind of money you're paying him. You were getting pressure from your other guys that were stepping their game up in week 1. So, and remind everybody, it is week 1. It's a long season,
sure,
but it was an exciting week 1 at Lambeau. I mean, the crowd was electric. The people, in the stands, just the way things were going, the team on the field, they were executing. You didn't see too many mistakes on offense or defense, to be quite honest.
You really did not. Love had that quick series where things kind of went weird, and he almost threw the interception. Then he did, and but besides that, it was a very, very clean game for the Packers, I thought.
Yeah, their balance on offense was outstanding between the run and the pass. And that was one of the things I talked about last week. I said, when you watch this team and getting the tight ends involved, Kraft had 3, 4, 5 catches?
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta keep your tight ends involved. The run attack was very good. Now it could have been better. That's the one thing they really have to work on is their run attack with their offensive line. The pass protection I thought was fabulous for Love. Gave him a lot of time to look the field over and go through his progressions.
Well, and Ken, I think part of that was Detroit's game plan as well. I think Detroit loaded up extra guys to stop Josh Jacobs. And it worked in the first half, as we talked about. He had 8 yards in his first 6 carries, but because they did that, it really opened things up for Jordan Love, and Jordan Love was able to pick that defense apart because of how much they loaded up against the run. And when they went to the pass, he had all the time in the world. So yeah, the offensive line wasn't awesome in terms of the run in the first half, but they were great in the pass defense, for the pass protection. And then Josh Jacobs really was able to get loose in the second half.
Correct. That was going to be my next point, is that the offensive coordinator as well as Love were able to get together to say, hey, here's what they're doing. Here's what we need to do to move forward in order to blow these guys apart here. And that's what they did. They took what they gave them and they exploited it. And they did a great job of it, hitting receivers in stride. The short passes, the swing passes that turned into big runs for 14, 15, 20 yards. That's the kind of stuff that you need when you've got somebody loading the box up. And they were able to recognize it and execute. Recognizing is one thing, executing is another, and they were able to do both.
The execution yesterday was fantastic. And, even though, at 17-6 or whatever it might have been, it felt like the Packers had control of this game the entire time. And that's something you don't often see. Even last night when you thought Baltimore had control of it, up 40-25 in the fourth quarter, here comes Buffalo and they come back. The Packers never let that happen yesterday.
No. In fact, you're right, because you never had to feel like they were just hanging on by a string. They weren't. They were in complete control in all 3 phases of the game, and they clearly showed it. And really, that's just a testament to this coaching staff for getting their guys ready and how they go about preparing their people for their guys for a game. And now on the short week, it'll be another test for this coaching staff and this team to overcome Washington, which I do believe they will, and then they'll get a little more time to get ready for week 3. So great job all the way around by staff, players. The whole organization did a great job.
Absolutely. Ken, thanks for the call. Don't be a stranger. Ken drops off. You can jump on 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law Fan talk and text line 414-677-1250. Brandon is absolutely blowing up the dugout on YouTube. Cooper's going to get nastier and nastier. Back foot throwing is Love's kryptonite. I think we all agree on that. Jerry Jones' game plan, that stop the run and give up 27. That was the Lions' game plan yesterday. And LaFleur is getting away from Rodgers, opened up his brilliance. Yes and no. I mean, I don't know if I'm willing to go there, Brandon. I don't know if I'm quite willing to go that far in terms of calling LaFleur brilliant yet. I think he's really good, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with being really good. I'm not sure he's brilliant yet. I'm not sure he's brilliant. I don't know if he'll get to brilliant. But when you are able to ascertain what the defense is doing and take advantage of that and do that immediately in a way that the Packers did yesterday. They saw immediately that the Lions were stacking the run. They saw immediately that they had time. They saw that over the middle was a place that they would have an opportunity to make some plays, whether it was early or on third down. Kind of like Peter Bukowski, who was with the show earlier, talked about that throw to Kraft, that touchdown throw. That was exactly what the Packers wanted. They got exactly the defense they wanted. They got exactly the reads, exactly the coverage. And that was not an easy throw. I mean, Love still had to put it in there, but Kraft was exactly where he was supposed to be. The Packers got exactly what they wanted. And you know what that means? More often than not, that means a touchdown for the offense when what you are looking for is what the defense gives you.
Exactly. And I think the only thing, again, that kind of worries me about what we're talking about here is what's going to happen when they don't get what they want. What's going to happen when the wide receivers have to kind of make a improv play, when Jordan Love needs to make an improv play, when Josh Jacobs maybe needs to carry the ball 25 times instead of 18 times in a game. We saw last season that was going to be okay, but we didn't see that the wide receivers could step up when they needed improv. We didn't see that Jordan Love could step up when we needed him to improv. What's going to happen when this isn't going 100% as planned like we saw yesterday?
Well, and I think one of the other things that I want to add to your list, Charlie, is what's going to happen when Jordan Love has to make a couple plays with his feet. And I mean, running the ball, not keeping a play alive. He did a nice job keeping plays alive yesterday. He had a lot of time in the pocket, but he also got out of the pocket and made some nice plays. But I want to see what he can do if a team is really, getting outside bull rushing, if guys lose a lane, is he able to take advantage of that, read the defense correctly, especially if they're in man? How many times did we hear about it Thursday night between Philly and Dallas? Every time Dallas went man and they were covering guys, Jalen Hurts just ran for 15 yards. Now, I don't know that we expect Jordan Love to be able to run for 15 yards every time the defense goes man, but he will have those opportunities throughout the season. Is he willing and able to take advantage of those opportunities?
I think that's the biggest thing is I don't know if it's that he's not able. I think he can do it. We've seen him be an athlete out there and move at least a little bit. It's about being willing. And I don't know if the Packers and Matt LaFleur are really asking him to be willing to do that. And I think there's other ways to kind of get past that. There's a clip that I played last week, again, on Wisconsin Sports Daily, where Tom Brady was talking about that. And he was saying that it feels like the younger generation of quarterbacks are just so willing to run. And sometimes that they get so frightened that they move out of the pocket earlier than they need to. Caleb Williams was an example of that last season in his rookie year. That a guy like Jordan Love is a little refreshing that he's not doing that. But at the same time, the game has changed since Tom Brady even was playing and was at his peak and needed to move a little bit more. The game has changed. So Jordan Love needs to kind of adapt with the game because we can see that he's got a good pocket presence. It's about changing that pocket now too.
Yep, absolutely. He's Charlie Hughes and I'm Mitch Nose. Middays with Thunder, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. I do want to play a little Matt LaFleur when we come back. Just a little taste of his post-game press conference yesterday. Some of the things to take and to have the opportunity to continue to bask in the glow of a Packers victory. Remember the question we're asking, can one person make this big of a difference for our Green Bay Packers? We're talking about number one. We're talking about Micah Parsons. 414-677-1250 is the phone number. It's also the text line, the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. So if you want to chime in with your thoughts from yesterday, your takeaways, or answering our question, can one person make this big of a difference? You go right ahead. 414-677-1250. Find us at The Fan Milwaukee, at Thunder MKE on Facebook and Twitter. We are on YouTube as well. We are live on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. This is Middays with Thunder on the Fan. This is Middays with Thunder, 1250 AM, 1057 FM, The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. Continuing to get your responses in on Twitter and on Facebook. Can one player make this big of a difference? Bill Johnson, IYKYK, if you know Bill, longtime radio host here in Milwaukee, said yesterday he did. And friend of show Bruce writes in just the number 100. He gave it a 100. Bruce, I don't know if you're young enough and hip enough to say 100 on an answer, but he did for this answer.
I think he is. You know, everybody's hip and young enough at heart, Mitch.
That's right. That's a good point. You know what? That's a good point. Oh, what am I playing? We close. What do I need to close? Do I still have a YouTube open?
Probably.
Oh, I literally have Roman Reigns' entrance theme playing in the background. We don't need that because let's see if this works now. It does, because we want to listen. When I say we, I hope I'm talking for we. Like, I hope we're creating family here and we are all fans here together. of our Green Bay Packers, of our Milwaukee Brewers, and more. But I hope we want to hear a little bit of Matt LaFleur.
Obviously, anytime a divisional opponent, and who in particular that's kind of had their way with us the last 3 times here at Lambeau, I was just really proud, and I think of the energy our guys brought, not only in the first half, but I thought we matched it to start the second half as well. Defensively, it was a dominant performance. I mean, I think I looked on the stat sheet and we had something like 9 TFLs, 4 sacks against a really good offensive line, and Jared does a really good job of getting the ball out of his hands. So I thought defensively, just our style of play was exactly what we wanted. And then offensively,
how often is your defensive style of play exactly what you wanted? Like, to say that for opening week, that everything went exactly how we wanted it to go defensively. I mean, that's pretty spectacular. Just off the bat.
I mean, that's usually a guaranteed win if your defense goes exactly how you expect it to go. I think most of the times a plan for any defense is to read and react is kind of the number one key, is to kind of react to what the offense is doing. So almost always you don't have that solid of a defensive plan. You have different styles that you want to play just in case a team comes out in a different formation or something like that. You have different setups, but it's all just kind of about reacting to the offense. So if you were able to run your game plan to completion, that means you prepared really well. And that also means that was just a damn good coach on the defense side of the ball.
You know what else it means, Charlie? It means the Packers just kicked the Lions' butt yesterday. That's also what it means. Let's go, Matt.
I thought we had a good start, and then when there was a lull in there, and there's some things to build upon where we got to be better. And but all in all, I was really happy with our performance. I thought the fans that showed up brought great energy, and the fans that sold their tickets to all those Lions fans got to be better.
Ooh, interesting that he brings that up right away. Right away, he brings up, and there was, from all accounts, a good amount of Hawaiian blue. I don't know if that was. I'm guessing most of those people sold their tickets well before the Micah Parsons trade. I'm guessing most people did not sell them. And if they sold them after the Micah Parsons trade, they were bought by Packers fans who wanted to be there for the Micah Parsons. For those of you who don't know, I recently on my personal Facebook page, I sold some Packers tickets. But I sell, as I do when I was a season ticket holder for the Bucs as well, I sell to people I know on Facebook who are also fans of the team I'm cheering for, right? So I knew when I sold these the Packers tickets that I just sold, I know that they were going to Packers fans. That's one of the nice things about selling over Facebook and not selling over Ticketmaster or StubHub or Viv, whatever the other sites are, that you can control who they're going to. And I understand that not everyone has the social network that I have. I'm blessed. I've been on the radio for a long time. I'm also a very outgoing person and make friends. You know, I try to make friends wherever I go. So I get that not everybody can do that. And that these tickets are your property. Now, again, if you're selling every game you have, that's an issue. But the one thing that none of us want to hear about anymore is that the gold package ticket holders are the problem. Because every gold ticket person I know who, if they had that yesterday's game, by the way, yesterday was a green game, would have gone to the game. And the fact that Green Bay residents get a 3:25 game against Detroit and Milwaukee residents get a Thursday night 7:15 game against Washington is just stupid. And the fact that the Packers don't have an internal ticketing situation where they can create opportunities for trade so that people can just trade them straight up with each other and get more Packers fans in the building, that's on you. So I'd almost want to say, I'd almost raise my hand, like, I know that there, how long is this? This is 12 minutes. We're not going to listen to all of Matt LaFleur. And I know that the reporters aren't good. This isn't the story the reporters are there for, right? They're going to ask about Micah. They're going to ask about Jordan. They're going to ask about Josh. They're going to ask about the wide receivers. They're going to ask about Edgerrin. They're going to ask about LVN and Rashad. They're not going to ask about the tickets. But I would say to Matt, hey, Matt, I know you're on the football side and not the business side, but the Packers could make this 1,000 times easier to keep Packers tickets with Packers fans if they would just do their job and do their due diligence and get off their asses and actually do something worthwhile for a change on the business side instead of building another ski hill, which is nice for all the little kids. But that doesn't get more Packers fans' butts in the seats. You could solve this if you wanted to. You clearly have no interest in solving this on the business side.
Do you think this is a Packers issue or just kind of an NFL issue in general where they don't really care who the fans are that are in the stadium as long as fans are in the stadium? And it's more just about kind of, again, as a league, this idea that your goal is to get the product out to as many people as possible. It doesn't matter if they're true fans or new fans or people who are barely fans. As long as eyes are on it,
right,
that's all that matters. So is this an issue that the Packers can just fix on their own, or is it something that the NFL probably needs to look at?
So the Packers think it's an issue for them because the Packers think that the crowd should be filled with Packers fans regardless of what 31 other teams are doing. Like the Packers don't care how many Bengals fans are at Browns games, right? Or how many Buccaneers fans are at Falcons games. But in general, the NFL would argue that they just want fans in the seats because we all know that the NFL product is 1,000 times better on TV than it is in person. It is the sport. It is the ultimate sport that is better on TV than in person, and it has been created that way. And there's a reason all these teams have created 30 screens around their stadiums. Like you go to Jacksonville, you should see the size of their screen. It is bigger, it is wider than the end zone. It is wider than the field itself. It curves and wraps around. But then at Jacksonville, they also have like 4 big screens in each corner with the Red Zone channel on. Like they're showing the Red Zone channel at games. Because you know what I can do if I live in Jacksonville? I cannot sit in 97-degree, 7,000% humidity and watch a crappy team play football. I can stay home with my 2 screens and watch the Jaguars play if I want to, or just watch because they play more often than not at noon on Sunday. They're not getting 3:25 games. They're not getting primetime games, except for the one a year they need to get on Thursday because everybody plays on Thursday night now. But the NFL would say whatever it takes to get fans in seats. So the NFL, the big shield, would say sell them to anybody. Like, let's get these sold. Let's get these into people's hands. The Packers should do better. The Packers could do better. And as much as Matt LaFleur cares about this, all he's got to do is walk across the hall to Ed Policy or to Russ Ball or to whoever and say, do better. Like, I get it. This is not my job. This is not your job. And maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe it doesn't make sense to hire somebody at $60,000 a year to manage the tickets and a ticket trade program, an internal app we could create on the Packers app or Packers.com so that Sunday afternoon green package could trade with Thursday night and Monday night gold package, which are the 2 games this year for gold package. It is a Thursday night and a Monday night, neither of which makes sense for somebody from Milwaukee to drive up for a Thursday night or Monday night game, unless you want to go, and that's fine with you. But if you're going to sell it, why not sell it on Packers.com to a Packers fan or trade? And I get it if you trade, you're not making the money. And some people do this as an investment. But for the people who actually can't make a Monday night game or a Thursday night game because of work or because of responsibilities, but could make a Sunday noon or 3:25. And I'm guessing there are people in Green Bay who could very easily go to a weeknight game because you're already in Green Bay. And yes, it's still a late night, but you're not adding 2 hours onto it. I think the Packers can make this happen. I just do.
I think so. I think it'd be pretty easy.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hear a little bit more, Matt.
What do you think of the impact Parsons had on your defense overall?
Yeah, I thought it was very impactful. I think you look at that interception that Evan Williams had. It looked like he beat Penny pretty quickly. Did I see that correctly in time, real time? It looked like he got a pressure. There was another sack where he got pressure on the quarterback. I'm not quite sure who got the sack, but I thought he was pretty impactful in the limited snaps that he played.
30 snaps, maybe somewhere in there. Was that higher than you would have guessed, or that you were shooting for coming in? Were you okay with
Yes,
that?
it's definitely higher than what we anticipated.
So how come, why did the number get so high, you think?
That's a great question. I'll have to investigate.
He got a ton of those snaps on their final possession. So was that, did you feel good about how much he had left in the tank that you guys were able to do that with it?
I could tell, like, he looked like he was gassing a little bit. So that's when we took him out. And you really wanted to end the game right there. And we had a couple opportunities. They converted a couple fourth downs. And obviously that was a hell of a catch by Tesla on the touchdown. But yeah, we wanted to end the game prior to that, obviously. Just couldn't get it done.
I think in general, the first answer about that, obviously Parsons had a huge impact. We all agree, can one person make this big of an impact? It sure seems like yes, at least in week one. And for that reason, I'm very thankful that the Packers got the Lions in week one. Like there couldn't have been a more ideal opponent for the Packers because the Lions didn't really know what they were in for. Like they didn't know how to prepare for Micah Parsons on the Packers. And I think that showed. Now we'll see Thursday night. Washington's a team that is very familiar with Micah Parsons. They're not familiar with him on the Packers, but they are familiar with him. We'll see how that goes and how Washington's preparation for that goes as well. Want to get into a little Brewers and a little Badgers when we come back. Also, we've got an interview with Lyra Valkyria. She is a WWE superstar. WWE is in Milwaukee tonight. That should be a blast. That'll be around 1:20, 1:25. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. It's Middays with Thunder right here. And remember, the Mason Crosby Show, you can find it wherever you find your podcasts. You can find Wisconsin Sports Daily. You can find Middays with Thunder. So just listen you can just go wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, iHeart, wherever you're going. You can catch the full episode. You can listen by individual hour or jump straight to the highlights. Just open up your favorite podcast app, search whatever you're searching for, and hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the follow button, though. You want to do that because that's going to make sure you get future shows as well. You want every minute of the show your way and on your time. We've got a lot more sports to talk about coming up. We got to give flowers to our Brewers. They deserve it. I know it's Pittsburgh. But a sweep is still a sweep, up to 7.5 game lead in the Central. Let's give some flowers to the Brewers when we come back here on Middays with Thunder on the Fan.